Welcome, dear viewers, to another episode of The Drubbin Show. Today, we're diving headfirst into the bizarre world of religious charlatans. Our guest of honor, none other than Benny Hinn.
When a man stands before the people on television and says, Jesus Christ has told me that one day he's personally going to attend and be in one of my meetings.
Just before we go, I had a word of prophecy from Ruth Heflin. You know who Ruth Heflin is?
Yes.
Ruth prophesied over me back in the 70s, and everything she said has happened. She's just sent me a word through my wife and said, the Lord spoke to her audibly and said that he is going to appear physically in one of our crusades in the next few months.
My God. Ready for that.
Yeah. I'm telling you, she said, the Lord spoke to her audibly and said, tell Benny, I'm going to appear physically on the platform in his meetings. Lord, do it in Phoenix, Arizona, in the name of Jesus. And in Kenya too, Lord, please.
That's blasphemy. That is the doctrine of demons.
My dear viewers, there's an age-old saying, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. Today, I stand before you with a message that echoes through the annals of history, a message about the grave dangers of mixing state and religion. Throughout history, we've witnessed the consequences of this unholy union. From the medieval papal states to theocracies that suppress human rights, the intertwining of state power with religious authority has often led to tyranny and persecution. On today's episode, we're diving even deeper into the rabbit hole. It's not just Benny Hinn we're talking about. We've got ourselves a first-class co-conspirator, none other than Kenya's very own First Lady, Rachel Ruto. You see, the good First Lady has decided to sponsor a nationwide crusade led by our favorite faith healer. We've seen religious leaders become pawns of political agendas, manipulating the faithful for personal gain or power. The Crusades, the Inquisition, and countless other examples remind us that such alliances can lead to atrocities in the name of faith. All right, folks, let's get real for a moment. When Benny Hinn and his circus of miracles roll into town, we all know what we're really waiting for, don't we? Because who better to host a grand spiritual spectacle than the First Lady, right? She's got divine connections after all. The big question here is, what's her role in all this? Is she just a pawn in Benny Hinn's game? Or is there something more sinister afoot? Some speculate that she's trying to divert attention from issues that plague our nation. You know, the trillion-shilling elephant in the room, the rampant corruption, and the non-performance of the government. So, my advice for the First Lady? If you're going to sponsor a nationwide distraction, at least make it a magic show. Who doesn't love a good magician, right? They often use religion as a veil to cloak their actions and distract the populace from pressing issues. Recent events in Kenya have raised concerns that cannot be ignored. The visit of Benny Hinn have ignited discussions about the blurred lines between governance and religious practice. The nexus of state, religion, and corporations, a triad whose convergence can give birth to a singularity that, if unchecked, may usher in a perilous era of totalitarianism. We've witnessed how governments, when they intertwine with religion, can use faith as a tool to consolidate power and control. History bears testimony to this, from medieval theocracies to modern autocracies. But my dear audience, before we dive into the holy waters of this peculiar phenomenon, let's remember one thing. In the end, it's all about priorities. So, whether it's miracle crusades or mundane matters, let's scrutinize where the government's focus truly lies.